Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help mental health professionals grow their dream practices and live a life they love. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building tips. We invite you to take advantage of our private practice paperwork and our signature marketing e-course. And we have a gift for you. This is the exact methodology we use to create our six-figure private pay practices and have helped many other therapists do the same. Go to privatepracticestartup.com and on the homepage, click the button to download a free copy of your dream private practice playbook. Now on to today's episode. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Private Practice Startup Podcast. How's everybody doing today? We hope that you guys joined us last episode where we just kind of took a step back from the business talk and really had an amazing conversation with Matthew Brahman of Verve Psychotherapy, talking about 3 ways therapists in private practice can modernize masculinity. What a beautiful conversation that was. The work that he's doing with men or male identifying, it was great. Definitely check that out. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build your ride or die dream team. So this is exciting. Kate and I love talking about team, growing your practice. And we're inviting Brandy Mabra, the owner of Savvy Clover Coaching and Consulting. And let me share a little bit about Brandy. Brandy is the CEO of Savvy Clover Coaching and Consulting. That could be a tongue twister if you say it too fast. And also business and leadership coach. She is a graduate of the Ohio State University and A.T. Still University, where she received a master's in health administration. Brandy is a certified professional coach and master energy leadership practitioner, receiving her credentials from the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching. Brandy has 15 years of business management and leadership experience working in the healthcare industry. She has worked in diverse business climates and has turned hot mess businesses into well-oiled and profitable machines with engaged teams. Brandy has spent her career building $1 million empires in the healthcare industry and now uses her $1 million skill set to help other women entrepreneurs to build their $1 million empires. She's the founder of Savvy Foundations, a CEO mastermind helping other women show up unapologetically savvy in their CEO role and build a healthy and sustainable business generating 7 figures. Brandy's a mother, loves to travel and spend time with her family. She believes you cannot build a business on fumes. So CEO breaks are required. What an amazing introduction. Welcome, Brandy.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thanks.
CEO required breaks. Yes. Love it.
Yes.
More so than not, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a requirement around here. And it's been a requirement that I had to learn the hard way through burnout. So yes, I'm so excited to be here. So thank you.
Well, we're excited to have you. And before we dive in, let's just take a quick moment for our sponsor. Feeling anxious heading into tax season? You are not alone. That's why therapists turn to Herd. Built and designed specifically for clinicians in private practice, Herd offers affordable bookkeeping services, personalized financial reporting, and tax assistance to ensure you're making the most of your business and your time. Herd saves therapists on average $5,397 on bookkeeping and taxes each year. That's amazing. And when you join Herd, you'll work directly with financial specialists to track your income and expenses, file taxes online, and grow your private practice. Sign up now at joinherd.com. That's joinherd.com. So, Brandy, where should we start?
Well, I think that when it comes to just to your point, leadership and teams and just the importance of having a support that you need to build a business, a healthy and sustainable business. When you try to do all the things on your own, the burnout is real, the long days, I always, advise against the early mornings, the late nights, the weekends, everything that it takes in order to build a business. Once you hire some help to complement that, then your business building journey becomes so much easier. I've been able to help manage and lead and build some amazing teams in my experience. And even as I'm on my own journey, I'm so thankful for the team that I have as I'm building my business. And I could not imagine doing this work without some support. So, I know that there's a lot of conversations that happens around teams, mindset and shifts that need to happen and fears and, stepping into that leadership role. So I love the topic of conversation.
And lots of letting go and trust.
Yes. All of the things that can make you like, oh my goodness, no. Control issues. It's so funny that you say that, because after 15 years of business management leadership experience, when I started my business, I thought initially, oh, it's going to be so easy to delegate, and I wanted to delegate. Like, where is my person at? Because I didn't have anybody starting out. And as soon as I hired, I was amazed at the amount of things that I was holding on to, because it was my business and it's my face and it's my words and it's my everything. And so to let go, I was shocked. I was so shocked with the amount of things I wanted to keep on my plate. So the delegation and mindset shift is real.
Yeah, something that, you want me to go ahead? Okay. It's something that a lot of therapists struggle with, because, as whether they're solopreneurs or group practice owners, when they first start out in business, there's like a bootstrapping phase. And a lot of times they think that they need to do all of these things and need to figure it all out themselves, but that's not necessarily true. If you try to do all the things, it's going to slow you down, and it's going to be like trying to work through mud, and can contribute to that overwhelm and end up with people either burning out, not getting as much done, and it really works against them. So being able to outsource and work with and create your dream team of different members is something that is so key. And being able to build a business that you're passionate about, that you're profitable with, that you make the impact that you want to make with the clients that you are called to serve, and being able to enjoy your life in the process. So I just wanted to mention that. Katie, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I feel kind of very fortunate, because I think I kind of did learn leadership like differently than most people, because I've been in management and leadership since 26 years old. So I had this ability to come into kind of business already having those skills, which a lot of people, you're getting your business skills. And then if you want to grow, you're getting your leadership skills. And luckily I had the leadership skills. So the team stuff has always just been my joy. But what's hard for me is like when you're in your business and you're working so much and doing so much and you're so busy, it's the time to step back and work on the business and create those systems to then be able to delegate and train. And that's a place that we definitely can get caught up if we don't plan that time. I love when people are like, oh, I'll schedule that later or someday or soon. And I'm like, that's not a time in your calendar. Like, you got to get it in there. Otherwise it's not going to get done. So I know that that's another difficulty as we begin to grow and scale, is stepping back and really working on the business rather than working in the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I always think too, and some of the clients that I work with who are therapists, when is it time to transition your business model, right? And so when you are first starting out, you're doing all the things, you're, doing credentialing and scheduling and follow up and all of these things. And so at some point when you grow to the point where you need to delegate some of those tasks, recognizing that having a standard operating procedure or a policy and procedure, or having those systems or scheduling those tasks, bringing yourself to a level, that CEO level, where you're able to see the forest from the trees. So that way you're able to pay attention to those key metrics that are truly going to move your business forward. So I completely agree with what you're saying.
So where should we start with how to build your ride or die team? I know we're talking about some of the struggles and the learning curves and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Where would you want to guide us?
Absolutely. When you first start to build your ride or die team, I say you have to start with yourself and knowing what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Get really clear on what is happening when you're working through some of the challenges that you might be facing in your business. So for example, with me, regardless of the industry that I've been with, healthcare, with my own business, I've always struggled with tech. And so I remember back in the days trying to implement, EMR systems and like, what do I do? Where do I go? Well, that followed me into my business. So now it might be like an email marketing system, but how do I set up an automation? So one of my first hires actually was a tech person to help me. The other thing was, getting clear on what do you enjoy? Where do you shine? If it's working with clients, how can you do more of that? If it's taking yourself up a level, I know for some therapists, they don't exactly enjoy the management piece. And so identifying what are those strengths and weaknesses is where you should always start.
Let's take a quick moment for our sponsor.
Is managing your practice stressing you out? Try Therapy Notes. It makes billing,
notes, scheduling, and telehealth a whole lot easier. Check it out, and you will quickly see why it's rated the highest EHR on Trustpilot with over 1,000 verified customer reviews and an average customer rating of 4.9 or 5 stars. You'll notice the difference from the first day you sign up for the trial. They offer live phone support 7 days a week. So when you have questions, you can quickly reach someone who can help. You are never wasting time looking for answers. If you're coming from another EHR, they make the transition really easy. Therapy Notes will import your client's demographic data free of charge during your trial so you can get going right away. Use the promo code PPS to get your first 2 months for free, or try out Therapy Notes for free, no strings attached, including their very reliable telehealth platform. Make 2021 the best year yet with Therapy Notes.
So Brandy, great stuff. Really getting clear around your strengths, your weaknesses. It's when you said tech, I was like pumping my hand. I'm like, yes, that's me. Like, I'm so glad. No, yes and no. Right? I'm so glad like tech gives me this all of a sudden this numbness in my brain and overwhelming anxiety. I'm just like, I can't do it. That it has allowed me to outsource a lot. But yeah, when you need to fix those little tech issues quick on the fly, because I don't know, you're in the middle of something that you need tech for, it does become anxiety provoking. So share with us more. What would be the next step?
Yeah, assessments. Assessments are your friends. So for me, I'm a big advocate of Strength Finders. I know I've taken other assessments with DISC and Colby and Enneagram, all of those things, but just getting to know yourself as a leader, identifying what your leadership style is, and knowing when to transition, as you're growing and working with your teams, I think is really important as well. So just that self-awareness piece is priceless. And paying attention to simple things. I am a big believer that if from a delegation standpoint, if you have a hard time delegating at home, to your kids or a significant other, whoever's with you, then once you start to hire, those same tendencies are going to follow you when it comes to your business. So paying attention to those little things, your little triggers, is priceless, because when you actually take the time to build a team and start to have people around you, those things are going to matter, and it's going to matter on how you work with your team. So that's I
always say business is the greatest mirror, right? And we can either be a victim to business and blame everybody and, or we can take it as feedback, right? And then when you do move more into a leadership role, that is another level of self-awareness and feedback. And, I remember coaching many teams and mentoring and leading many teams. And it was very interesting how each team member needed to be talked to different. Their needs were different. Some were, less needy. Some were more needy. Some you had to joke around with more. Some you just had to provide time, and really adjusting to the needs of each team member to really get the job done, and so it's a very interesting world. And then you're in self-examination of, wow, that team member just felt like really put off. Or what did I say? What did I do? How do they need to be approached? Let's have a conversation. And really, investing in the relationship with the team member at first and then continuously is so very important.
Yeah. Having that authentic relationship. And everybody too likes to be communicated with differently. Some people they need that in person. Some people are okay with just an email. Some people are like, can we have a meeting? So identifying what your team needs and getting to know them on that personal, deeper level is priceless. Because that way, when really things get tough and now you're in the trenches and maybe things are hard, it's those relationships that you've built with your team that you're going to be able to rely on to get you through. So I love that. I absolutely positively love it.
So we talked about strengths and outsourcing. We talked about assessments, getting to know thyself, and kind of naturally just talked about the relationships, authenticity. What else does it take to really build your ride or die dream team?
Hire with intention and strategy. Not just hiring based on a vibe. That's what I see often. Well, I really like them. They're so nice. I could see myself going out to dinner with them. That's great, but does not mean that that's going to correlate to a great, team relationship where now you need to help with maybe structure, or now you're delegating them a project. And because you can see yourself across the dinner, maybe having a glass of wine with them, it doesn't mean that they have the actual skill set that you need for that specific position, in order to have a thriving team. The best teams are teams that are based on each other's strengths, weaknesses, businesses complementing each other, able to bring different ideas, different backgrounds, experiences, all the goodness that makes us unique. And that's when the magic happens. So hiring with intention, having a sound interview process, identifying what your team really needs, not just from a business culture standpoint, but also from a skill standpoint. Who's going to be successful in that position? Who's going to be able to excel in that position? What are their goals? Where do they want to be at, this time next year? Really getting clear on that hiring process is going to be important too.
Beautiful.
They're talking. I'm like jumping up and down. It's like I want to say so much because I'm so excited. And I was like, I'm clearly really excited about leadership stuff. But go ahead, Kate, because now I lost my train of thought. What were you going to say?
Uh-oh. I'm sure it'll come back to you. Yeah, I mean, that's so important to hire with intentionality and not just on the vibe of people, to really think about what the specific role is and responsibilities and tasks that you're looking for. And it's nice to be able to hire or to bring on team members that are going to work in their niche, in their zone of genius, as opposed to having somebody who you try to have do all the things for you, because nobody's going to be good at all the things. So being able to hire or bring somebody on in that way is so, so helpful. I was going to ask you, Brandy, what are some of the platforms or places to go that you love and that you would recommend for people as they're searching for their team members? I can share real quick what we've used. We've used Upwork. We recently had a great experience with WiseHire, and they use the DISC personality profile to match people based on their strengths with the job description. We just brought on our social media manager several months ago, and it's been the most amazing experience working with her. And we've also used Indeed and several different, some of the major names out there. But what do you recommend?
Same thing. With Indeed, I love Indeed. I probably have the most experience with that, just in having because they do questions and personality assessments too. If you really get to partner with them on some of the things, there's been some other things I've used with like Career Builder, but Indeed is definitely my go-to. I'm really curious about the platform that you just mentioned. So actually, I'm going to research that because having the ability to do like personality assessments or talent assessments before you even hire is something too that's part of hiring with intention. One of the things that came to mind is you talked about job description. Having a job description before you hire and sitting down and to get that additional clarity for what a position is going to require is so important. And I know naturally most entrepreneurs that I've worked with don't think to have a job description before they hire. But going through that exercise is really powerful.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that Kate and I do and firmly believe in and coach other people to do is to audition your team players, your team members. Like a lot of times, like you were talking previously, I learned a lesson a very long time ago, and it was a lesson that I was running a group home, and the CEO of the agency that I worked with told us we needed to take this kid into our group home as a favor. So hiring friends and family on favors is never a good idea, and unless they actually match a specific skill set and you've auditioned them. But the audition stuff is really important because, all of us in any type of interview can put our best foot forward. And, I feel like a lot of interview questions are very leading, right? Like, well, tell me about a good time, good relationship, or good scenario with a team member where you had a conflict. Well, all of us can think of that. You know what I mean? But when we audition people and really see their work and see how it's done, it really helps us identify like, yes, this is a good fit, or no, this is not.
Yeah, I love that. The audition. I think another thing too is peer interviews. So if you already have a team, having the people that are already part of your team, to help with that interview process, because it gives an additional insight. A lot of times that interviewee is going to tell them things that they might not necessarily tell you, because you can kind of brings their guard down a bit to get a real feel for that personality. So anything to do to where you can actually take that person and put them in a natural environment to see what their true skill set is, what their true personality is, what do they really bring to the table? Because the interview process can feel very formalized, and we all put our best foot forward and are kind of send our representative like, hello there, compared to really what our natural tendencies and things are too. So I love that auditioning.
And I would say another important thing you're parenting kids, like you need to get along. And what I also noticed is if you have two team members working very closely together, and you're bringing on another team member, to have that other team member be involved in the interview, is they take on more ownership and initiative, not like, Brandy hired this new person and I really don't like them. It's like they've already owned, like, no, I like them and I can see us working together or whatever. Not that things might not come up along the way, but it definitely helps.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to where you feel like as the CEO, oftentimes, or the business owner, you have to come to the table with all the answers. You have to know everything, and your team knows more than what you do. And you want to lean on that. You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. And even when it comes to, what's the best way for us to handle this? There's this problem or situation that's happening. What do you think? And you get more buy-in just asking for partnership and ideas and involving them along the process, compared to just coming in and saying, well, this is what we're going to do, because you're going to miss steps. You're going to turn people off. And, you want to build a team that's going to stay. You don't want to have to always invest in hiring somebody and spend money on turnover, because that's not healthy from a financial standpoint. So being able to have that engaged team that's going to really be there for you, ride or die, involving them as partners and equals is so much better of an experience when it comes to working with a team.
Awesome.
Loving it all.
Brandy, it's been a really enjoyable conversation about teams and helping therapists, whether they're the solopreneur or a group practice owner, really think about the different intentionality and aspects of identifying their own strengths and weaknesses and matching that with the strengths and weaknesses of who they're bringing on. I've really enjoyed this conversation. And I just wanted to ask you, what do you want our audience to take away from your message today?
I would say own your CEO role. Take the time to get to know yourself. Take the time to ask for help. Take the time to think about what help you can bring into your business, especially if you're in those solopreneur days. It's not too early to think about who you need to hire, what's going to be your first hire. If you're further along in your journey, then how can you engage your team more? Are you allowing for them to help you fully? When it comes to your business, are you delegating appropriately, fearlessly, in order to take your business to that next level? So just trusting yourself, owning your CEO role, so that way you can make the impact that you want to make, be able to have a great client experience, and be able to have the business that you truly envision. So.
Awesome. And I know that you have a giveaway for our audience. What is that?
I do. So I have a business health checklist. So if you go to my website, www.savvyclover.com, there's a business health checklist that is waiting there for you for 16 savvy CEO activities that you can do to help you look at your business from the 6 pillars of business excellence for growth and profit. So go check it out.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here with us.
Welcome.
You could tell I love this conversation.
Yes. I could keep talking. I'm like, oh, okay.
You were talking about the person to go coffee or grab wine with. I'm like, let's talk all about this stuff. Too bad we weren't closer. We hope that thank you so much, Brandy, for being here with us. And we hope that you guys join us next time as Kate and I dive into one of the famous questions we often get is, how do I raise my fees in private practice? We'll be talking about money, raising fees, your worth, and how to do it.
Startup Nation, we hope you're enjoying these episodes. Yes, Brandy, it was so nice to have you here. And Startup Nation, we hope you're enjoying these episodes. We hope we're creating the content that really meets your needs along the practice building and growing journey. So if you have a topic that you have been loving to hear, or maybe you want to be a guest on the podcast, reach out to us and let us know. And we will look forward to seeing you on the next episode. In the meantime, stay inspired.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.